Well, it finally arrived. Been on national backwater. Date moved a couple of times, and I checked on it like Thursday or so, and they were shipped. So I just received mine today on Saturday. So we'll go to unboxing and get this puppy ready to go on the kayak. Well, it's unboxed. Almost need instructions just to get it out of the darn box. But anyway, we got it with no damage. The iPilot control. I'm really looking forward to that. The power head. So, I got to run down to Corpus Christi and get my second battery for this. I'm going to run two 35s put together, give me 70 for a while. I'm kind of interested in that Dakota battery, but they're on back order till the end of May, so I'll see what I can get out of my, I already owned one from a previous trolling motor, so we'll give those two a try and see what happens. Good morning, everyone. This is Ron, Fishy Tales, and we're starting our first sea trials. I was out for just a minute to kind of get oriented a little bit, and works just great. I think I've got the right depth so far, and I'll play with that some more and then do my cut to shorten it. I'll run through some more detail after I get back to the house. I'm running a 135 amp hour battery for this little try. I thought that two of them, they're 24 pounds a piece, so that's 48 pounds, would be too heavy, but actually now I realize I need more weight in the back because this trolling motor weighs about 35 pounds, I believe, 35, 36, somewhere in there. So I'm going to go out and get some more experience and do a little bit of fishing. And so far I'm real pleased, and looking forward to getting the shaft shortened, and at some point, I'm not going to rush. I want to do it once and do it right. So okay, we'll get another video with the entire setup a little bit later. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, I have already done or completed my test run with the full length shaft, and I got my depth figured out, and I'm in the middle of getting ready to shorten it. I've shortened shafts before on trolling motors, but they were transom mounts that we used in the back of the kayak, and they were metal and thin walls, so it really wasn't an issue for cutting them down. The Minn Kota, the newer age stuff is a little different. As you can see here, that wall is very thick. It's a little over 1/4 of an inch. I was able to track down, I didn't want to just take my chances and not cut the wires. I was able to find a tube at the auto parts store that would barely fit into the shaft, and the wires would fit in it. So I've got it down past where I'm going to make my cut, which is right here on the red, and my wires are safe. So that'll be the next thing I do is cut this piece off. I tried it with a pipe cutter. Somebody had mentioned a pipe cutter, so I tried that. I don't think that would work all the way. That's pretty thick wall. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up to cut it with a hacksaw, I guess, and move on to the next step. Okay, the cut is done, and I didn't even hit the tubing. Really cool. That tubing is a snug fit, only a few thousandths in between the wall, and I'll post the numbers on the thousandths of the thickness of that tubing, and the interior ID is what it's called, of the motor shaft. All right, on to the next step. Okay, for remounting the head, I put the head back on, lined it up with the motor, and used a pencil to make a mark in there for my first hole. Now, to protect the wires, I found that a hacksaw blade fits in this half-inch hole, and I've got the blade where the drill bit will hit the, hit the blade. And then I'll work on the other side, forgot what I'm going to do to make sure everything is aligned. Okay. Okay, I got, which was going to be the next step, which was drilling the hole all the way through to get the bottom part of the head mounted back to the shaft. You have to be careful because the wires are going to still be in there, and you gotta just drill right through the shaft, but don't go any further and have something in there to block the drill bit. And just do one hole and then flip everything over and mark the other hole and do it, and hopefully once you get lined up, you'll be able to get your screw all the way through. What I did was I didn't like both of them being on the bottom and the screw going over the top of both of them, and actually this worked out better because there's slack in between the screw and the shaft to keep chafing away from the wires. So I've already done the butt connectors, heat shrink butt connectors, and heat shrink on top of that, and I'm ready to button it up and see what it looks like on the Kayak. So it's come out very good. Haven't hurt any of the wires or anything, and I got my distance that I wanted to achieve, which is 32 inches from the bottom of the head to the bottom. You probably can't see that real good, but to the top of this boss here where the shaft goes in. So anywhere in there, 30, 31. Some guys are doing 30, some are doing 32. So it's just whatever is going to work with your Kayak. All right, I'll get it finished putting together and get it on the Kayak and show you what it looks like. Okay, now for the dimensions. I got 13 inches off, and that allows me to have about 32 inches on the shaft. Like I said earlier in one part of this video, that's what I want to try and achieve. So the big deal was trying to find a tube that I could insert in here and send the wires up through the tube to protect my cut. And I went to several locations trying to find some tubing small enough, and I happened to stop at auto parts store here in town, in Rockport, Texas, and they had some fishing stuff, and they also had one of the metal racks that you see in the box stores and Ace. And I'm rooting through there, and I find 3 foot of this tubing, and I had my measurements with me, and I also had my caliper, and so I could do my measuring and make sure I knew what I was getting. And inside the tubing from the head, with the head being off, I was able to go ahead and measure the inside of this this hole, which is a 1/2 inch plus 56 thousandths of an inch. So I was looking for something smaller than that, but large enough to send the wires up through to the top to protect them. And lo and behold, this auto parts store had just the ticket. This tubing is a 1/2 inch plus 50 thousandths. So basically 6 thousandths, 3 on a side clearance. And inside here is a little over 3/8 of an inch, which was plenty of room. I had measured my wires together, and I was able to, as described in the video also, but I wanted to give you the actual measurements. Able to send this down through, and I had marked my hole and had a very successful cut. Now this tubing comes from one of those steel centers that I was talking about in the box stores, and this one happens to be Forney, F-O-R-N-E-Y steel center. This is an aluminum tube, and they're calling it 1/2 inch, which it is. It's just a little plus 1/2 inch. Am I saying that right? Yeah, 50 thousandths. I don't know if you can go right to that site and buy this, but you can hunt around and see if you can't find it. The stock number on this is 49262. So that's going to be hard to see, but and this really worked out well. I ended up using a hacksaw and just took my time and went around. It very successful. Very happy with the way the cut came out. So look, can be a little intimidating, but if you take your time and try and solve the problems as you go along, like this tubing, then it's a piece of cake. So I've got all my lowering and retrieving. Show you. Okay, I've got all my lines set up to connect to the motor, to the trolling motor, to release the stop for pulling it up, and to pull it from the head, which you see a lot of guys, that's what they're doing, and that's what we did with the rear mounted trolling motors. And you kind of have to suit your own needs there, how you want to do it. But we've had so much wind here, just can't get out and try it. So okay, here it is, all mounted on my PA-14 with the PA-17 mount bracket. As I mentioned in a previous video, I had my Hobie dealer down in Corpus Christi make sure that it was going to be okay to put it on the PA-14. And he said, not a problem as long as you don't do any major hole alteration, which I made none except for one hole beside the hole that they put in. So everything works. iPilot works. Kind of anxious to get out and give it a try. Give it a try. Make casting a little easier. I can go deeper, I can go shallower, so I'm happy. You just got to be careful. These things are expensive. I got, what, almost $1,500 in this, and that's great. And I got it from Minn Kota at the factory outlet. I had to wait about 3 months, but it arrived. I'm very happy. Okay, I'm going to go over to the deploy and retrieval. And when I get ready to leave the shore, I go ahead and release the trolling motor from this lock and push it on out and get it in this position. I have my paracord running back to my cleat to secure it. This is my the release, and my hookup is simply a loop knot around here, so I can take it off, run it to underneath this eye cleat, and run it back to the cleat. Up here is a mount that I had used previously in a transom mount. I believe we got that from Amazon, and it was probably either in the trolling motor section or the tiller section, but I simply have an eye bolt there and a removable clip, paracord back to a roller right here, a Harkin roller, a single, and running back to my cleat. And so to deploy, and I may have to turn the trolling motor a little bit, it'll hit the tire back there. Okay, so I just let it on down, nice and easy here on the trailer. It did nick the trailer a bit, so I just have to turn it and get it down in it, and it's locked, and the release popped up. And for the retrieval, I just come back to my cleat and undo my paracord that's going up to my release and pull that forward and get it in the cleat, and take the paracord that's connected to the head unit and my pull, and just pull the trolling motor up and all the way toward me and put it in the cleat, and you're good to go. Okay, I hope that that helps somebody. This way I've done it in the past on the rear mounts, transom mounts, trolling motors. So I'm just about ready to go get in the water. All right, on to the next section.